This is a Big Blue Krew production.
Hey, what are you doing? What is wrong with you? These nuts. Got it. Got it.
What's going on YouTube? What's going on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all platforms? Welcome to another episode of Big Fat Sports Talk Reacts. We back. We got another episode for you guys. Just want to do a little article from the ESPN Get Up. This is a pretty good segment here. This is about the Cowboys, and it's about their coach Mike McCarthy, man. He came out and said it in quotes. He said it's hard being an offensive-driven team all the time. It's nice to call wide open plays, but it's not conducive for playoff football. And the Get Up crew is going to react to it. I'm going to go ahead and get into the video. You know how I do with these reaction videos. I'm going to let them speak their piece, and then I'm going to speak my piece, and then we're going to keep going back and forth with the banner. That's how I make these videos interesting for you guys. So without further ado, let's get to the video. Let's go.
It's fun if you're calling plays to be wide open, but it's not the most conducive to playoff football in my experience.
And just to go off that real quick, sorry to pause it so quick, but Giants fans, what were we known for when we won our Super Bowls? Defense, defense. We've never been a top offensive team going into the playoffs. And a lot of the times, the top defensive team literally wins the Super Bowl. It literally comes to who plays the best defense when it comes to winning Super Bowls. A lot of defensive teams have won the Super Bowl. A la we beat Tom Brady 18-0, made him 18-1. So I think defense does play a major factor in the playoffs. The best defensive teams wins. Look at the 49ers. They literally almost made the Super Bowl. And they played the Packers. They played the Rams. Who else did they beat? Man, they beat somebody else. I forgot who else they beat. But they beat the Packers. They almost beat the Rams. And those are the top offensive teams in the league. Two of the top offensive teams in the league. I mean, look at the Bengals when they made the Super Bowl. It wasn't just their offense. Their defense was the actual ones that got them into the Super Bowl. They blanked the Chiefs in the second half. Blanked them. They forced my boy over there in Tennessee to throw 3 interceptions. Their defense won those games. Look at how the defense was playing against the Rams. Only one that gave up anything was Eli Apple. Ryan Tannehill for the Titans. He threw 3 interceptions. They played very well against the Raiders. So the statement of defense wins championships is very true. But let's move on.
Interesting thing for him to say. I'm interested to hear what Marcus Spears has to say as a reaction to it. Swagoo, what'd you think of that?
Swagoo is not feeling it.
Hey man, I promise, G. Sometimes I think Mike McCarthy just be talking. Like I think he be trying to like figure things out as he says them. What the hell does Mike McCarthy mean it's not an offensive driven league? Didn't we?
Okay, now see what he did right there? This is why I like doing this reaction videos. Mike McCarthy did not say, in quotes, he said it's hard being an offensive-driven team all the time. He did not say this was not an offensive-driven league. See, you gotta watch what you do and watch what you say about what people said, if that makes sense to you. He did not say this was not an offensive-driven league. He said it's hard being an offensive-driven team all the damn time. That's what he said. He did not say it wasn't an offensive-driven league. If you're a smart person and if you're a coach in the league, you know this is an offensive-driven league. Just by how the league is going. The days of teams winning games only averaging 18 to 17 to 20 points a game, those days are going into the past in the regular season. But when it comes to those playoffs, when it comes to win or go home, that defense always has to step up. As you can look on the screen, Dallas defense allowed 21.1 points per game last season. That was 7th in the NFL. What were they the year before? But last. Their defense was one of the worst in league history. And that's why they didn't make the playoffs. But they were absolutely dominant during the regular season when that defense was balling. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that after this video about our Giants. But watch what you say. He did not say it was not an offensive driven league. He did not say that.
We just 15 minutes ago talk about them changing the damn overtime rules so the other quarterback can get the football. We just saw a guy with 22 civil lawsuits off the field get $230 million guaranteed from a franchise. Is that not offensive driven?
Yeah, that's very offensive driven, but he never said that it wasn't. He said it's hard being an offensive driven team all the time. It's different.
We talking about the AFC because of their quarterbacks, or are we talking about it just because we want to? Like, bruh, listen, Mike T, Nick, y'all gonna talk, man. I can't do this with Mike McCarthy. I can't do this with him, man.
Marcus, I'm going to make this even worse. I think Tannenbaum agrees with McCarthy. Mike T, go.
Yeah, sorry, Swagoo, but on our great Jet teams, our own ESPN's Rex Ryan used to say, we're going to run it, they know it, we know it, and we're going to be successful. And I think what he's...
Exactly. Those teams had Mark Sanchez at quarterback. You knew they were going to run the ball with Jordan and, what was the other running back that they had at the time? Oh, I can't think of his name right now, but you knew they were going to run the ball. And they made it to the AFC Championship game twice and were close to winning both times, losing to the Steelers and losing to the Colts. But not the Colts. Who was it? It was the Steelers. Yeah, I think it was the Colts. It was the Colts when they went on to beat the Bears. But you knew they had to run the ball. You knew Mark Sanchez wasn't that guy, but they had Braylon Edwards. They had Santonio Holmes at the time. They had some decent receivers, but you knew they had to run the ball. And guess what? That defense, they beat teams like the Patriots. They beat teams like the Colts in the playoffs. It was just that Mark Sanchez was just not good enough to get them over the hump against the elite of the elite when it came to the AFC Championship game. But those defense damn near got them in 2 Super Bowls with the Jets. Rex Ryan was in his bag when he was with the Jets those years. Not gonna lie to you. When they had Reeves and them boys out there, man, they were doing good. So defense plays a whole lot when it comes to the playoffs, folks. I'm just gonna let you know.
Actually alluding to is when we have Zeke Elliott, when we have Tony Pollard, at some point, Swagoo, there's a great axiom, which is pass to score and run to win. And I think in the second half of these games, they do have to do a better job of being balanced in terms of you have Zeke, you have Pollard.
Correct. They are not balanced when it comes towards the end of games. They want to put the ball in Dak Prescott's hands because they paid Dak Prescott all that money, which I'm happy they did because that's Cowboys stuff. And I hope they keep putting the ball in Dak Prescott's hand when it comes to crunch time because he's proven that he's not that guy when it comes to the playoffs. Regular season, he can do it all day. He can put up 4-quarter stats all day because you have another day to live. But when you go into the playoffs, when it's win or go home, he is not proven that he is that guy. He's not a $45 million quarterback when it comes to playoff success.
They're great players.
Mike T, if he says that, I have no problem. I understand. You know I want people to run the damn ball. I screamed it for the last 6 months on ESPN, on NFL Live. Mike McCarthy said this is not an off. Hey, put the quote up there again, G.
Yeah,
the quote
Cindy,
up there
go
again.
ahead.
It's
Cindy,
hard
put the
being
quote
an
back up.
offensive-driven team.
That's way different from saying that the league is not an offensive-driven league, sir. That's way different from saying that this is not an offensive-driven league. He said it's hard being an offensive-driven team all the time because he comes from a situation over there when he was with Green Bay where they did have pretty good defenses to go with an offense. And he said it's hard being offensive-driven, meaning that more than likely he's being told to put that ball in Dak Prescott's hands and let him win the game because he's being paid the most, instead of putting that ball on the ground with Zeke Elliott and Pollard and closing out games. It's probably what he's saying. He says it's not the most conducive to playoff football in my experience. Exactly. Quote the man correct.
What? Mike McCarthy? If he did what Mike T just did, we don't even have a segment. There is nothing to talk about. If he says what Mike T just said.
I think that's what he's saying. He just didn't say it outright like that. But it's just coming from his experience.
Says we have to be a run-driven team and a passing. This man said it is just hard being an offensive-driven team all the time. Somebody help me. I'm up here with somebody help me understand that.
Yeah, you do need help because you just found out that you were wrong, and then you said that he said it's not an offensive-driven league when he said it's hard being an offensive-driven team all the time. You just found out what you did. That's why you're asking for help. Quote the man correct. He said it's hard to be an offensive-driven team all the time. It's way different from saying that it's not an offensive-driven league. And it is hard being an offensive-driven team all the time because you know why? Because if that offense doesn't put up the 31.2 points per game when you get into the playoffs, it's a wrap. When you play a team that has good defense that can hold you to 17 points, you're going to need your defense to step up. Or you're going to need your running backs to close out the game for you. You're going to need the Zeke Elliott of old. You're going to need the Pollard to close those games out for you. With his 4 minutes left on the clock, it's 21-17. You need to get a couple of first downs to end the game. Instead, you want to put the ball in Dak Prescott's hand and try to air it out all the time, and he winds up making a mistake. Hell, he makes the mistakes to where you're down 17-21 instead of being up with your defense playing well. Throwing the ball all over the field, throwing interceptions, making inaccurate passes. And you made him a $40 million quarterback, which I'm happy you did. I'm not saying that he's a bad quarterback, but I do not think he's upper echelon. I'm just saying. And I said this before last year, before the playoffs started. Miz, I shouted you out in my last video. Miz, I got to shout you out again in this video. You said the Cowboys are different. They're dangerous. It's different this year. Their defense is balling. Well, what I told you was, hey, Miz, look, listen. I'm not jumping on that Cowboys bandwagon until they win at least one playoff game. Newsflash, did the Cowboys win at least one playoff game last year? No, yet. Nada. Hell nah. Nope. They didn't win nothing. Lost to Jimmy G. Shout out to Classified 3F with Joe. They lost to Jimmy G. Same old Jimmy G. Same old Cowboys. We got the best offense in the league. We got Dak. We got Zeke. We got CD Lamb. We got Amari Cooper. We got Michael Gallup. We got Wilson. We got Blake Jarwin. We got Dalton Schultz. We got the best offensive line. We got Pollard. All that, and you still don't win a playoff game. You won as many playoff games as we have. And I'm speaking about the New York Giants. So Mike McCarthy might be on to something. It is hard being an offensive-driven team all the time, especially if you not like the Chiefs or someone like that. And even they struggle at times when their run game is not working. You saw what happened to them in the AFC Championship game when they got blanked in the second half. So I think Mike McCarthy might be right on this. Who knows?
Nico's raising his hand very politely. Go ahead, Rob.
Mike T, if you paid Mark Sanchez $40 million a year, you wouldn't have went out and got John Connor, the tremendous fullback, to try and run me over. Like, that ain't the reason. Like, the Cowboys are paying their quarterback they're having to cut people and trade people away and let go of defensive ends because
that's what he's getting to. That's what he's getting to. You're paying all these offensive players. You're paying this quarterback this top money, and we're not winning anything, and we have to lose pieces to keep him at his high salary? That's what he's getting to. At least that's where I will be taking it. That's what he's getting to. You mean to tell me that you're going to pay Dak Prescott over $40 million a year, and we have to lose pieces to our defense? Lose key offensive pieces like Amari Cooper to keep this guy paid, and he hasn't won us one playoff game? Are you serious? That's what he's getting to. It's hard being an offensive-driven team all the dang time. That's what he's getting to.
because their quarterback makes so much money. You need to be an offensive-minded team because all the money is in your quarterback, on your offense. If you wanted a defense win championships type mentality, all that money would be on the defensive side, and you'd have a quarterback that could hand the ball off, that could throw intermediate passing routes, and doesn't turn the ball over. But you got $40 million.
And that's exactly what the Cowboys have, and they're overpaying for it. Ding! And that's the problem with the Cowboys right there. You have a quarterback that should be turning around, handing the ball off, making intermediate passes, and you're paying a premium price for it. That's where Lou is getting to when he talks about Dak Prescott. You just hit it right there. They can't build a team the way they're supposed to build this team because you're paying platinum prices for a silver quarterback. That's what I think Mike McCarthy's getting to. That's what Amari Cooper got to, and he got released or traded. He got traded to the Browns. You're going to have to pay CeeDee Lamb coming up soon. You just gave Michael Gallup a bag. Dalton Schultz is going to get a bag. Ezekiel Elliott already getting bag. Pollard is going to want a bag. Not to mention that Diggs is going to want a bag. Parsons is going to have a bag soon after his rookie contract. Dexter Lawrence is still on the team. You couldn't pay Randy Gregory. Or Randy Gregory wanted to leave. You still got safeties that you have to get. You still have corners that you have to get. Because believe it or not, Trey Diggs was feast or famine. He gave up the most yards in the NFL even though he had the most interceptions. So if he didn't get all those interceptions, his season would have been absolutely terrible. So I think he's fool's gold, to be honest with you. But you hit it right on the head, man. They have to be an offensive-driven team with a quarterback that should be turning around, handing it off, and making intermediate passes. I mean, you don't even have to go no more out with this segment because he just hit it right there on the head. That segment's done. Like, seriously, that segment is absolutely done. But that was a segment right there about Mike McCarthy saying it's hard being an offensive-driven team all the time. And the reason why I brought this article up because a lot of Giants fans are doing the same thing. Man, we want to put up 31 points a game, 30 points a game, 30 points a game, 30 points a game, 30 points a game. When's the last time we put up 30 points? Man, I wish we can average 30 points a game like the Chiefs. I wish we can average 32 points a game like the Cowboys. 30 points a game, 30 points a game, 30 points a game. And we've never won putting up 30 points a game. When we won our Super Bowls, we were a gritty offense and a damn good defense, especially the defensive line. When have the Giants ever won that way? Oh, Pat, you got to get with the times. You're so old school. Ooh. You an old head. You always want to talk about the defense, man. We need offense. Offense, offense. That's all I hear on Twitter and sometimes in the chat. I love the chat. But you know you guys call me an old head and I'm not with the times and I'm old school. I'm tunnel visioned. What else I've been called? I've been called some things. But this is what I'm getting to. What if they build this defense first? What if they build this defense first, man? What if building this defense to where we can hold people to 20 points a game and 17 points a game, and when it comes time to win in the playoffs, we're built for that. We may go 9-8 or 10-7 in the regular season because teams can put up 31 points, but you can only put up about 22, 24 maybe. But when it gets to the playoffs, that team that's used to putting up 31.2 points per game, we hold them to 17. And we win the game 21-17, 24-17, 20-17. We move on to the next round and they go home. Because our defense is built for that, man. I'm used to seeing people like Michael Strahan, Kiwanuka, Justin Tuck, Osi. I remember the strip sack Osi had on Aaron Rodgers before he threw that touchdown. I remember Corey Webster picking off Brett Favre in overtime. I remember our defense holding that 49ers team that was just rolling through people. 35 points a game here and there with Alex Smith. I remember us holding them to 17 points. I remember we hold a record-breaking offense with the New England Patriots that year. Quarterback that broke the single-season touchdown record, a receiver that broke the single-season touchdown record. To 14 points. And we won 17-14. Why? Because our defense was built for that. They were. I watched the 49ers with Jimmy G. Everybody says Jimmy G is terrible. Only one that was on that bandwagon was Joe, and that's because he was making it out as a joke. But it turned out that he was damn near right. The 49ers were 2 minutes away from making the Super Bowl. I watched the Bengals team make it to the Super Bowl when Joe Burrow and the offense was struggling against the Tennessee Titans, and they got 3 turnovers for the offense to win. I watched them the very next week go out there and blank the Chiefs in the second half to go out there and win it. Oh, and was the Super Bowl 38-41? No. Aaron Donald came up with the last play to win the game for the Rams. Believe it or not, that was a lot of defense in that Super Bowl. There wasn't even 50 points scored in that Super Bowl, with both teams combined. Defense wins championships. Trenches wins championships, folks. Offensive line and a good defense. And I think that's one of the ways we should go into this draft. Build the offensive line. Get your offensive lineman. And then build this defense, man. That's what we got to do. Everybody wants to build 30 points, 30 points. I want to see us score. When's the last time we scored 30 points? Oh, my God. It's an offensive-driven league, Pat. You need to get with the times. You're so old school. You're always talking about defense. You're always talking about the trenches. I want to see this team put up 38 points. Ooh, if we could put up 41 points. Put up points. Put up points. Like, that's the only thing that won Super Bowls in the past? No. I want to stop the other team from putting up points. That's what I want to do. I want to punch the other team in the mouth. I want to slap them around a little bit. Make them know that we are the Giants. And we don't play that here. You take your high-flying offense and shove it. Because we're going to punch you in the mouth for 60 minutes. And you're going to earn every single yard. And if you come across this middle, you're going to get knocked out. And you will not run the ball on us. And your quarterback better get it off quick because he ain't got enough time to sit back there and just scan the whole field. That's what I'm used to. I'm used to Brandon Jacobs running up the middle, going off tackle. I'm used to Ahmad Bradshaw running up the middle, going off tackle. I'm used to Derek Ward breaking off the middle, going off tackle. Tiki Barber even back then. And I'm used to having a reliable quarterback that knows that, hey, that defense on the field knows that if we get this guy the ball in the crunch time, he'll bring it through for us. 17-14 is the final score of this game. Believe it. Michael Strahan. He had that much confidence in Eli Manning after finally giving up the second touchdown to the Patriots in that Super Bowl. A record-breaking team. That was a team that was putting up 40 points a game. Putting up 51 in the snow. But when it came to them G-Man, when it came to that defensive line, Tom Brady folded up in a fetal position like a baby. And we took home that Lombardi. Instant replay did it to him again, 21-17. Did it to him again. Offense was pretty damn good that year too. Yeah, I know it's in the past, but defense wins championships, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. And that's why I did this segment doing this Big Pat Sports Talk Reacts about the Cowboys, Mike McCarthy, saying it's hard being an offensive-driven team all the time, and it is. But that's where the league is going to, man. Offensive-driven league. Everybody wants 30 points, 30 points, 30 points, 30 points, 30 points. That's all you hear. 30 points, 30 points. What you're going to hear from me is I don't want them to score 30 points. That's what you're going to hear from me. I want to stop them from scoring points. Because the only way they can beat you is if they score. If they can't score, they can't beat you. Simple math. I don't want to just outscore everybody. No, I want to kick their ass. I want you to come in averaging 38 points, and after the game you play us, you only got 14 on the board. And we win 17-14, 20-14. Call me what you want to call me. But I want this defense built. Build my offensive line and build my defense, and we can worry about the rest. Just me. But this has been Big Pat Sports Talk Reacts. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to talk your talk with Big Pat Sports Talk, hit that join button and talk your talk with Big Pat Sports Talk and stand above the rest. But until the next episode, peace.
This has been a Big Blue Krew production.